Hare Krishna. Welcome to the class on Śrī Upadeśāmṛtam. We will start. Today we will start third verse. Very nice, beautiful verse. Before that, let us recite the Mangalacharan prayers. I will share my screen. One second. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Kada Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Upadeśāmṛtam Shri Gurun Vaishnava Shri Rupam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitanscha Nama Vishnu Padaya
Krishna Prastaya Bhutale
Srimate
Bhaktivinoda
Swami Niti
Namine
Namaste
Sarasvati Deve Gurvani Pracharini
Nirvishesha
Sunyavadi Prasati Desatarine
He Krishna Karuna
Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate
Gopesha
Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute
Sapta Kanchana
Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari
Vrishabhanu
Namo Devi Pranamami Hari Priye
Pancha
Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhaya Vacha
Patitana
Pamanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah
Jai Shri
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Shri
Shri
Advaita
Gadadhara Shri Vasatpur Bhakti Vrinda
Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare.
All right, thank you for joining. I will switch to these slides. And let me share. So I hope you can see the slides here.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, very nice. So this is the Bhakti Shastri series on Śrī Upadeśāmṛtam by Srila Rupa Goswami, with the English translations and purports by His Divine Grace Abhay Narada Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Also taking a lot of material and blessings from His Grace Hariparshad Prabhuji from his in-depth series that he has been doing on Śrī Upadeśāmṛtam. All his classes are available on this YouTube channel, which I highly, highly recommend all of you to take advantage of. Again, so just for those who don't know, he will be coming to Portland. Next week, he will be here on Saturday. So exactly 1 week from now, we will be sitting in a class by him. And he will be bringing this book, Bhakti Rasayanam, which is a beautiful commentary on the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. His translations in Hindi of the commentary by Sri Hari Suriji in Sanskrit. Very, very beautiful commentary, new realizations, in-depth understanding of the various aspects of the Dasham Skandh, 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Only the first 7 chapters are revealed in the first part. So it's a very long work and it's a long journey, but we are getting an entry into it. So I'm looking forward to that a lot. Okay, as we are doing, let us recite the verses, the first 3 verses of Upadeśāmṛtam, which are Bhakti Shastri memorization verses. So please use this as an opportunity to memorize the verse. Even the translations need to be memorized, but we are not going to go through translation for sake of time. Because the purpose is that in future, when the Sanskrit, as you are reciting, the meaning should pop up in your head directly from the Sanskrit. Okay, many people recite the Sanskrit as if it is like Greek or Latin. And then only then, when you read the translation, then the meaning pops up in your mind, the English translation. In my opinion, that should not be the case. There should come a point in time when you don't need the English translation. The English translation should automatically pop up in your mind as you are reading the Sanskrit. That's my understanding, or that's how I approach it. I hope I'm on the right track. Okay, we can do lead follow. Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam.
Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam.
Jivha vegam udaropastha vegam.
Jihva vegam udaropastha vegam.
Etan vegan yo vishaheta dhiraha.
Etan vegan yo visaheta dhiraha.
Sarvamapi mam prithivim sashishyat.
Sarvamapi mam prithivim cha shishyat.
Atyaharah prayasascha.
Atyaharah
Prayasascha.
Prajalpo niyamagraha.
Prajalpo niyamagraha.
Janasanghascha laulyam cha.
Janasanghascha laulyam cha.
Shadbhir bhaktir vinashyati.
Shadbhir bhaktir vinashyati.
So Ramakant Prabhu, maybe you can little bit learn to kind of sing in the meter, like I am singing, like everybody else. So your tune is a little bit like your own tune. So maybe, you can follow the sort of the meter or the laya of the rest of the group. Try. No harm, but try. There are various ways of singing the Anushtup. So we are following one way. There is no fixed one way, but there are many. So, but it's nice if we are all in the same meter. Utsaha niścaya dhairya.
Utsaha niścaya dhairya.
Tat karma pravartanat.
Tat karma pravartanat.
Sangatyagat sato vritte.
Sangatyagat sato vritte.
Shadbhir bhakti prasidhyati.
Shadbhir bhakti prasidhyati.
Nice. Thank you so much. So now today we are going to start with this third verse. Utsahat niścayat dhairyat. So I'm going to share my screen here, link to today's topics, verse number 3. And I will find it here in my notes as well. All right. So these are 6 habits or 6 traits that bhaktas should definitely adopt for progress in their bhakti. So let us see what they are. The third verse was utsaha, niścaya, dhairya, tat karma pravartanat, sangatyaga, and sato vritte. Shadbhir bhaktir prasidhyati. So today my goal is to, which may be a little audacious goal, to cover 4 of those. Why 4 of those? Even though there are 6, why not half-half? If we have to split it in 2 classes, then half-half should have been better. But we will do 4 plus 2. So that is because Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has divided into in this verse into 4 plus 2. So the first 4 he calls as Bhakti Anushilana Anukula Kriya Vyavastha. So what it means is that favorable, the first 4 together are favorable for cultivation and execution of bhakti on a day-to-day basis. So what you do on a day-to-day basis, okay, for the cultivation and execution. The last two are bhakti jivanera vyavastha. That is how a bhakta lives for his entire life. So for maintaining the ideal life of a devotee. So it is on a long-term basis, and it is not something that you can say that you can say that I do it on a day-to-day basis. You can break it down, but that is more a way of living. Little bit, it's a little generic. It's not something that you do on a day-to-day basis. You don't include that in your activities on a day-to-day basis. It's a general way of living, and it's little more broader. So what are these six? Utsaha, niścaya, dhairya, tat karma pravartana, and jana sanga tyaga, and sato vritte. So what are these six items? So let us look at each of these quickly. So most of you, I hope, understand the meanings of most of these words. Utsaha, what is utsaha? Enthusiasm. Niścaya, niścaya means determination or firm conviction. We will discuss each of these as we go along. Dhairya, dhairya means patience. Right? What did you say?
Fortitude.
Okay, patience or perseverance. Dhairya. Then tat karma pravartana. What does that mean? What it means is doing the various activities that are conducive for bhakti. Okay. And then the fifth one is sanga tyagat. Giving up the association or abandoning the association of materialistic worldly people who are too much into material worldly sense gratification. And sato vritte is the opposite of that. So avoiding one type of association and associating with sadhus and saints and devotees. That is sato vritte. So you can see a little bit of difference between the first four and last two. First four are more things that you are, various things that you are doing, and you are doing it in a certain attitude. They are more a little bit of an attitude focused. The last two are a way of life, that always avoid bad association and take devotee association. So the first four are interconnected. You will see a lot of overlaps in the first four. And we will see those. I have integrated that into the overlaps, and that's perfectly fine. And the last two are also overlapping, because when you avoid a certain type of association, then you are taking some different kind of association. So that is kind of interconnected. Okay. So that is the overall meaning. Now let us dive deeper into the various aspects of each of the terms, 6 terms. So it starts with utsaha. Utsaha is enthusiasm. Enthusiasm for what? Enthusiasm for
bhakti.
Enthusiasm for bhakti. Very nice. Enthusiasm, little bit more specific, for executing the various limbs of bhakti. So we know some limbs of bhakti, right? The Navavidha Bhakti, the 9 limbs of bhakti. When we go into Nectar of Devotion, we will see 64 limbs of bhakti. So many limbs of bhakti are there. And enthusiasm in executing those. Utsaha. So what is the meaning of utsaha? Who can say a little bit? One or two words, not a full paragraph. Just excitement. Okay, very nice.
Consistent.
Always eager to.
Eager to.
Urgency.
Urgency. Okay. Think, okay, I don't know. I mean, have you been to Disneyland, Ashay?
Yeah.
Were you excited? Huh? You can be honest. I was excited when I took my kids many years ago, even though I'm not a kid. Anyway, so yeah, so let us look at it from a opposite standpoint. what is the lack of enthusiasm mean? So lack of enthusiasm means indifference. Okay, boring, like a tasteless, boring ritual. Some people you might have seen, and I was also like that many years ago. Some, like, you buy a new house or something is happening and somebody, your grandma or somebody, wanted a puja at your home. They called a panditji, they're doing something. And then we are all sitting there looking at our watch, when it will be over and when will the fun begin? When will this panditji go and all this fire sacrifice and homa and all that will be done? Then we can have actual fun. So, like, because we may not understand what is going on, there may be so many reasons. There is no taste. It sounds very boring. It sounds very tasteless. And it is like probably a necessary, I wouldn't say a necessary evil, but just a necessary ritual that we need to go through it, be done with it, put it behind us. Checkbox. It's a checkbox activity. So that is the lack of utsaha. So what is the meaning of utsaha now? Means with great attention and care. With a lot of attention. Now, this is where we are going into the bhakti side of it. It is not like, in this sense, not like going to Disneyland. It is, utsaha means with a lot of attention, with a lot of interest, but it is very, very devotional. It is very careful. You don't just go and it's not like jumping in the swimming pool and just, creating a mess or creating a big splash. It is with a lot of reverence, with a lot of respect, with a lot of care, and natural enthusiasm, not made up. Many times we say, fake it till you make it. That is also true, but to an extent. We cannot keep faking it for very long and never even try to make it. Then it will always remain a fake show. So yes, and only in terms of enthusiasm, you begin to do certain activities and slowly the enthusiasm also develops. Through that process of simply the externals, the internal develops. But if too much time passes in just the external with no internal movement of the needle, then we have to see something is wrong. We are not connecting the external to the internal. So many of us have been like devotees or trying to be devotees for many years. How many here are, let's say, 5+ years? Okay, on the Zoom, we have like 4, 5, or 10 people in the room here. Okay. So many people, especially those who have das and dasi against their name, we can say at least 4 or 5 years have passed, right? So they can say that for a new devotee, there is enthusiasm in the beginning. There is a lot of enthusiasm, but later it fades away. Just like, new car, or you go to a new grade, new books, new notebooks, you write your name. I used to spend a lot of time in covering my books with brown paper and all that, with a lot of enthusiasm. After the first midterm test or first something, all that enthusiasm fades. Is that true? These days, they supply the school books from the school itself. You don't have to go to the store, buy it, cover it with brown paper, all that stuff. I used to do that. So, or a new car, after some time, you don't even clean the car. So in the same way, every time devotees were even enthusiastic, even if for a small thing. Then even if a big thing happens, even Janmashtami is happening. Oh, Janmashtami, once again, we have to do so much cooking, 3 a.m. We have to fast. Every time it becomes a drag. So where did that enthusiasm deviate, or where did that enthusiasm fall away? So there are 2 core reasons for loss of enthusiasm, for losing enthusiasm in bhakti. So I'm going very fast in this. Please try to, pay attention. These are very, very important points, and I'm compressing a lot of material in a few minutes. So try your best to, absorb as much as possible. So, two main reasons of losing enthusiasm. So we start off with it because it is new. Anything new, we start with enthusiasm. Okay, new grade, new car, new marriage, new anything, new neighborhood, new house, new friends, new job. There is always enthusiasm in the beginning. So new project in your life, bhakti. Okay, now I will start going to the temple. I get to wear dhoti. I get to do all these new things which I have never done before. Then after some passage of time, what happens? When this becomes normal. So it becomes the norm. Okay, you are now used to it. So there is no newness, first of all. So the lack of newness creeps in because, it's the same temple, we cannot keep buying new temple every year to give you newness every year. We cannot keep changing the deities every year to give you newness. All that is not possible. We cannot come up with new Bhagavad Gita, new mantras, new anything, right? Body was still, different from the soul. Suddenly now we cannot change the philosophy also. Philosophy also is same. So once you get all that, what is new? So there are, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes this, again, as very nicely brought to us by Hariparshad Prabhu. The two main, and this is from Madhurya Kadambini, the two main reasons for losing enthusiasm in bhakti. The first one is not understanding the subject matter of bhakti. What is bhakti? Later on, I will show you just in a few slides how much enthusiasm is there in bhakti or is possible in bhakti. It is just, I'm giving you a little bit of a, like a trailer to increase your, there is unimaginable enthusiasm or in bhakti, unimaginable. So just hold on for that. But the lack of enthusiasm, which many feel, is due to not understanding what is bhakti. What is the process of bhakti all about? Many people do not understand that. And unfortunately, in many cases, there is nobody to guide them either. When there is stagnation, the people you look for guidance from are also stagnated. So you can see that. You can, see in the various activities, in the various conversations, sometimes, not sometimes, there's a subtle level of routineness, mechanistic. It becomes mechanical. So where to, get that enthusiasm from? There is nobody to give it. There is nobody to make us, to explain it to us. And even if one understands what is the bhakti, the process of bhakti, the goal of bhakti, the process and the goal, there is no taste in it. Okay. So it seems very, routine or boring. We understand it, but it is routine. Okay. It's like, always having to, I don't know, in Portland, it's much nicer, but we all go to our job in Bangalore, for example. To go even, 10 kilometers, it takes 1 hour, traffic and this and that. So even though we all know why we have to go to the job, you have to show up at work, otherwise, you'll get fired. But going through it is a very boring routine task through the traffic, or if you're driving in LA or wherever, one of the big cities, it becomes such a drag. Even if the goal is clear, the process is tasteless. So feeling a lack of taste. So just to kind of show this, devotee thinks, this is it. This is how you get to work. You have to go through the traffic. There is no other way. It just chant my rounds mechanically. I have been told, I took a vow, visit temple every Sunday. Yeah, 4 regulative principles. Yes, I'm following that. I don't need to eat meat. There is all nice other things to eat, all those things. Mentally switched off. The main thing is nothing new, boring, lack of newness. And sometimes it devolves into prajalpa, because you find newness in other things and which are in the materialistic domain. So it not only stays stagnant, you try to find newness elsewhere in materialistic things. So this is the problem with our devotional life, and we should absolutely prevent it from happening. The key to ever increasing bhakti is utsaha. So how to develop this utsaha? So the first step in developing utsaha is to tackle the problem of not understanding the subject matter of bhakti. What is bhakti? It is not just chanting 16 rounds and going to temple every Sunday and observing Ekadashi and doing those sort of laundry list of things. It's not that, or going on book distribution on Saturday or something like that. Just mechanical checkbox things. That is not those are the limbs of bhakti, but that is in itself, it is not bhakti. So the first step of bhakti is called shraddha. Adau shraddha, then sadhu sangha, then bhajan kriya, then anartha nivritti, then nishtha, and so on. Ruchi, asakti, bhava, and prema. So shraddha. So the problem that we are trying to solve is to not understand, how to remove this non-understanding of the process of, or the subject matter of bhakti. And how does that happen? From where does that happen? So where that happens, where do you think that happens? So the answer is in shraddha. Shraddha in what? It comes from somewhere. What is the source of shraddha? That will be the answer to tackling this problem of understanding the subject matter of bhakti. We need to have shraddha in something. What is that something?
Shastra.
Very nice. Shraddha in shastra.
Shastra. Yeah.
Yes. So faith or shraddha in what? In Bhakti Shastri. There are so many other shastras. We'll just make it more specific and say Bhakti Shastri. What happens when we put our faith in Bhakti Shastri? What happens is that it provides us a source of fully understanding what is bhakti. Therefore, I think we said in one of the previous classes that understanding or reading of Shastra is not negotiable. That must happen. Absolutely must happen. For at least some time, for some percentage of a devotee's life should be dedicated to understanding Bhakti Shastra. Then one can add the things according to the taste. One of, whether one is interested in deity worship or here or there, in book distribution, in kirtan, in cooking, in preaching, in various activities, one can, but understanding the process of bhakti, and understanding comes from Bhakti Shastra, from the Shastra. So Shastra is the source of fully understanding bhakti. And it is one of the sources of unlimited newness as well. We will see that. So Shastra, what it does, it shows us various ways to execute our limbs of bhakti. It develops and cements our understanding. It clarifies a lot of doubts. The Shastra clarifies. And then on top of it, there are some doubts that may still remain. Those should be clarified by shastric guidance from an advanced guide. Advanced guide. A guide, somebody, guide means a guide, mentor, whoever, a guru, diksha guru, shiksha guru, etc., who knows more than you. If we are all at the same level, then it is not possible to guide. We will be like all, at the same level, and we will give each other only speculative answers for the doubts that we have at our level. For standard questions, yes, we all have the same understanding. Is the body the self? No, the body is different. That everybody understands. But for our level of doubts, we need somebody more advanced than us to clarify those doubts. So to get that precision guidance, not what is called an aspirin guide. What is an aspirin guide? Any problem you have, take aspirin. Then that is not helpful. So that is like, oh, you have this problem, chant few more rounds. Your problem will go away. Oh, you have that problem, chant a few more rounds. There has to be precision guidance because, there is so much in the shastra. Otherwise, if this was the only solution, yes, this is definitely a solution. But there are the very pinpointed solutions, not misaligned with our limbs of bhakti. They are not misaligned, but they are very much pinpointed at the issue that one is dealing with. Okay, like if you have a issue with some other devotee, yes, by chanting more strongly with more dedication, the problem, Krishna will come and solve all problems. But if there is some problem that is happening with the devotee, there can be some more practical ways, more Vaishnava ways to address that, to move it forward, maybe like forgiveness or apology or whatever may be the the Vaishnava ways of addressing that. So one must try to find such an advanced guide. And when we find a guide, when we discuss our things, I'm either getting stagnant, I'm losing enthusiasm, or what is the meaning of bhakti, all those things that may be there in our heart can be clarified and we can get proper guidance and the enthusiasm comes back or stays alive and well. So having a good, proper guide who is able to, or whom we can look up to in times when, or all the time, is a very important aspect of our bhakti. Many of the subgroups or in various temples and all, they have a very nice mentor system and all that, which is I feel that it is very good for one's progress in bhakti. Otherwise, we are kind of left alone. And even when senior devotees come to the temple, they don't have that much time. In a public question answer session also, it may not be possible. Or how many questions can you ask? And they may come, if in half an hour of Q&A, you cannot address all the questions of all the congregation members and so on. So another problem then comes is how to find such a person. These persons are not like, dime a dozen available everywhere. So pray for their appearance in your life and wait. So very sincerely, if you want to find such a person, very sincerely pray and wait. Krishna will show. That is where this links to. DH I have put is dhairya. So this links to dhairya. In the meantime, don't sit still. Don't twiddle your thumbs. Self-study the shastra. Lot of questions are answered in the shastra itself. It's not like you always only need a guide to clarify. Maybe some verse will be there later. And if you read carefully, if you read with attention, try to understand the meaning, not like reading every verse as, okay, all I have to do is to surrender to Bhagavan and then he will just solve all the problems. We don't try to find a common meaning across all of them, but try to find specifically what this verse is saying. And if it is sounding similar to some other verse, try to even think, what is the difference? Put those two together. See, this verse is saying this. This appears to say the same thing. Then see what is the difference. Try to do that analysis. Meaning will come out. So like that, self-study the shastra as best as possible. And this is TTKP. What is TTKP? Very nice. Tat tat karma pravartana. Keep doing your activity. In the meantime, don't stop. Don't sit still. Okay? Always keep doing your activity in the face of lacking answers. Answers may be lacking. You may not have the answers to your burning questions, but you know very well what you need to do in bhakti, keep doing that. Don't stop. Okay. So that is how to understand the subject matter of bhakti. Yeah, you can close that. Why didn't you close that? Maybe something's happening. Yeah, no problem. Okay. Now we will tackle the next problem. So remember, there were two issues. The first issue was this one, not understanding the subject matter of bhakti. Okay. So that is addressed by ultimately by understanding what is bhakti from shastra. And added to it, what is the additional layer on top of reading shastra carefully? Under the guidance or getting clarifications, guidance from somebody who understands it more than us. Okay. So that is the fundamental aspect of this first point, to not understand shastra, or what is the process of bhakti, the depth of bhakti from the shastra. When we understand that, then we can execute it better with utsaha. The second point is we understand it, but the process is tasteless. There is nothing new in it. There is nothing exciting. It sounds very boring. So how do we solve that? So let us see. So what is the reason? There are many reasons. I'll go through it quickly. Sleep or laziness or too many distractions may be there. Okay. Or we may not know. We are surrounded a lot by material pleasures, not by spiritual things. We have just developed, swaths and swaths of material association around us, which are attracting us, towards that. It's like, we chose to, go through the traffic route. So obviously you will get traffic. If there was a scenic route, let us say, and you're always choosing to go through the traffic route, you will get the traffic route. If there existed a scenic route, you would want to go to work every day just to enjoy the scenery. Okay. When I used to go to Jones Farm, I always used to take West Union, not the Highway 26. West Union all the way to, it was having farms and all on both sides, no traffic anytime. So if you know the path, if it exists and you know it, you can take that. But today we are always taking the traffic route. And in the process, we get angry, we get frustrated. Why it has to be this way? Yes, I want to get to work. Why everybody has to go at the same time? Why is everybody else on the road? I should be the only one on the road. Mere baap ki sadak hai. We say that in Hindi. Sometimes when you get angry, tere baap ki sadak hai kya? Then he says, nahi, tere baap ki hai. Then you say, yes, mere baap ki hai. Something you feel that it belongs to you. Everybody feels that, why is the other guy here? Why are there so many problems in my way? There should be no problems. Then I could execute this bhakti so nicely. So frustrations are there, and many other disinclinations are there. So first solution is dhairya. First solution. And and we will see the other solution, which is tat karma pravartanat. Those are the two solutions to tackling lack of taste in bhakti. So what are the two solutions? Dhairya and tat karma pravartanat. Okay, let us see how that is linking to increasing our taste and therefore increasing our utsaha. So utsaha is increased by that. It's all kind of, you will see it is a circular logic, but it is not a vicious circle. It's not a circle that will crash. It's not a self-referential pointer where it will, go into a blue screen, if you know what I'm talking about. It is something which will help each other. It is a virtuous cycle. One feeds the other. So let us see that. So Many of these are overcome gradually by time. Don't worry. Keep at it. It takes time. Okay? So, dhairya. Don't try to beat a raw mango. Maybe the mango is raw. Okay? Maybe you have plucked it too soon and you are expecting results too fast. Okay? You sow the mango seeds. I don't know about mango seed, but rice seed or wheat seed, you sow it. The crop will only happen after some time. You cannot get frustrated. Why isn't the crop coming overnight? So don't beat a raw mango. Let it ripen. And what makes it ripe? Time. So time is one very important thing. And then the other point is, in the meantime, first give it time. But till time is passing, don't sit on your laurels. In the meantime, continue to engage in your activities of bhakti, which is tat karma pravartanat, with determination, not like with half-hearted, dhila dhala, loose, tasteless way. And amongst all of the activities in bhakti that you can do is association of sadhus and hearing from them. Bhakti Shastri. What do you do in association of sadhu? You don't play table tennis. You hear Bhakti Shastri in association of sadhus. So even if a senior person is not available, sadhu is a senior person. He may not be able to give private, personal attention, but you may get something new, some doubts may open up. Or even in the public question answers, you can ask. Try to make progress somehow or the other. Maybe you cannot ask a very direct personal question, but a general question you can ask. Or you can request, please speak on this topic. Many of the people, senior devotees, when they come and visit, they ask, what topic do you want me to speak on? They ask that. So if you are having a particular issue, you can say that, it's not like he will give you cannot request a one-on-one for 1 hour. They will not do that. But you can ask them to speak for 1 hour on a particular topic which might address your problem. They might pick verses from here and there and there and there. And maybe those are the verses that you are looking for. And the conclusions from those verses may solve your problem. So those kind of things can be done in association of senior devotees, even though if it is not a mentoring or a one-on-one conversation. So these are some of the ways to address. And this leads to niścaya, dhairya, and tat karma pravartanat. We will come to that. So I just want to show there is unlimited newness in the limbs of bhakti. Unlimited newness. Can anybody say something what might be on this slide? I want the juices to run in your mind. Otherwise, if I show you, you might forget. When I'm talking to my boss in my office, he's a very smart guy, actually. Those are the most fun conversations of my whole week when I talk to him, because he challenges me. What do you think it is? And I always know he knows the answer. But when I try to think and I don't get it, then when he tells, that answer I remember for a much longer time. If he just tells, then you don't remember. But if you're stumped and then you see the answer, or if you come up with the answer yourself and it was right, either way, you remember it much longer. Isn't it true? So let us see what is the newness in bhakti.
We can switch from like from Shravanam, we can hear Kirtan sometime or read scripture. That feels, if you want to switch, you go to chanting or.
Okay, very nice. So there are so many limbs of bhakti. First of all, the limbs of bhakti themselves are many. So right in the title of the slide, there is variety. Very nice. What else? More practical, more that you have seen. Many of you are 90%, I think, or 95% of you are here who are practicing devotees within Srila Prabhupada's family, ISKCON. So I'm asking for a little bit more down-to-earth practical aspects.
Prabhuji, you get to meet new devotees, new people, new knowledge.
Very nice. Meeting new devotees, new people. Very nice. That is newness. Yes.
There are unlimited stories about different devotees in the Shastras.
Unlimited stories about different devotees in the Shastra. Very nice. Yes.
In various interpretations of scriptures in Guru Parampara, each scripture is interpreted with new flavors of insights.
Very nice. New flavors and insights, like Srila Prabhupada talking about communism and capitalism. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur would never talk about communism, capitalism. But yes, we can get all that. And today's devotees will talk about social media and how to avoid Facebook. Srila Prabhupada would never talk about Facebook because it didn't exist. Very nice. Yes.
Somewhat in the same league, my answer was like reading the scriptures or the commentaries from the pure devotees and their understanding about like the same verse or the same story, and yeah, with the same link.
Okay. So again, all in the domain of reading scriptures. Little bit. Let's shift from that one away.
Visiting like new temples.
Very nice. Visiting new temples. Is that fun? Huh? I find it a lot of fun. What else?
Variety of prashads.
Eating or cooking?
Cooking and then offering and then eating.
Okay. For me, it is mainly eating. Everybody else cooks and I enjoy the eating part. Yes?
All the various services.
Yes, Savanam itself, every time you, even if you read anything time to time, I'm hearing you, like, then I get, every time I get a new thing. Even that after 1.5 years doing this Bhagavad Gita classes, even then today we get something new.
Thank you.
Always newness is there.
All glories to
even
Srila
Kirtanam also.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes.
Temple services.
Little bit more specific. Temple services, I would say it's too broad.
Yeah, like if you're doing cooking service, then there's every time you find something new.
Yeah.
And in garland, every time you'll find something new. This time we'll make this type of garland, then all the color combinations.
Absolutely. Color combinations and garlands. And I don't know if I have started noticing it now, but or maybe I developed some friendship with Antakela Prabhu recently for last few months. And every time, and I usually reach a little early on Sunday. So he is sitting there and chanting. And then always he tells me some new thing he has done in the decoration. He says, I have put this this thing or this flavor, or because he has done this for many years in the Sri Radha Ras Bihari temple. The turban, he explains me this kind of fold or that kind of fold. Honestly speaking, I don't see that very closely, but the fact that how he's explaining, I totally can relish his relishment. How much he's relishing that. For me, it is like, okay, folded, it's like that, it's this way or that way, one way or the other, it had to be folded. But how much sweetness he's deriving from it, that I can relish. And I'm sure many others relish. I'm just a tasteless person in that area.
Also in the Vaishnava bhajans, all the Vaishnava bhajans have all like different, Goswamis have different way of writing bhajan and explaining it.
Absolutely. Very nice. Very nice. Excellent.
For garlands and decoration, I have seen like Matajis in our temple, Bhakti Mataji, Somya, they're always looking at pictures of deity darshan from all over the world.
All over the world.
They will pick up, or we'll make the garland like this, we'll do the decoration like this. They have unique ideas from their own mind, but they're always looking. So that's the newness, and it's always exciting.
It's always exciting. Exactly.
This festival.
So I'll fast forward in the slides here, and we will see, Bhakti Yoga especially has innumerable, infinite, almost infinite, as in as far as our life is concerned. Okay, how does it matter if it is 1 billion or 2 billion? Both are infinite. So there is infinite number of newness in the shastra. There is so much shastra, so much. Just in the Gaudiya Vaishnava, I'm not talking about elsewhere. Jiva Goswami himself has written 400,000 verses. Rupa Goswami has written, there is the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses. And on that, so many acharyas have written like a verbose, or not a verbal, like a textual commentary, not verses. There is just so much. If you read, the whole life can just go in that. Pastimes of the Lord. And not only pastimes of the Lord, pastimes of the devotees of the Lord. So many devotees keep sharing about Srila Prabhupada pastimes. So those are also so wonderful. And then in deity worship, we discussed that so many variety. For those who have a taste in that, can find so much variety. Cooking for deities and for devotees, we talked about that. Festivals, that didn't come up. When festivals occur, there can be so much newness. There are so many devotees who do such nice, imagination of how festival should be arranged, all the dramas and this. And now we have, Madhuri Mataji and so many other Matajis and Anjana Mataji is running Sunday school and this, their Sunday school children. And there's just unlimited amount of, if you find taste in that area, then there is a lot of newness that is possible. Visiting holy places, yatras. So many Maharajas conduct so many yatras. Over past many years, we cannot attend because, our children were, getting ready for going to college and could not take vacation and all that. But those who don't have those constraints should take full advantage of all these places where you will never go. And everything is arranged for you in these yatras. I'm talking about these official yatras that many senior devotees conduct. Food, prasadam, lodging, accommodation, darshan, everything is pre-arranged. You just have to show up there. It is made so easy. And I used to remember when I used to go for yatras, I used to come back fully charged. Fully charged. Bhajans, kirtans, and here I'm talking about the bhajans as in the bhajans written by the Goswamis. Drama, kids activities. Adults take part in kids activities. They have to deal with the kids. Bringing up even, Krishna conscious children is a very, very important aspect. And of course, outreach, preaching to new people, going to new places, talking to new people. Somebody said meeting new people and sharing Krishna conscious with them, Krishna consciousness, and a lot more. Do you think there is a lack of newness? Anybody thinks there is lack of newness? Is this exciting?
Yeah, just a simple very important aspect, like listening to the youth perform the bhajan. Just the Mahamantra itself has so many ways of
so many tunes.
It's so exciting to hear. I'm not a practicing person. I can hear them participate. But listening to the performers, just the same literal Mahamantra presented in so many different ways, it's amazing.
Yeah, and not only just the tune, but the whole atmosphere, the whole group, the whole everything, the occasion, the place, it all just gives so much enthusiasm, So first of all, does any other yoga path have so much opportunity for newness and enthusiasm? Cannot have it by definition in Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga says do your duty. It's not telling anything new. You have to do whatever, you have to find newness in whatever you are doing. That is Karma Yoga. Jnana and Dhyana actually talk about giving up everything. If you give them this list of yatras and kirtan and cooking and garlands, they will go like, oh my God, that is what I want to run away from. Where are you entangling me? These are all entanglements for all the other paths. So where is the problem?
Buddha, first Lord Buddha, when he started the journey of spirituality, he tried that and then he gave up because it was so boring and being ascetic, it was so taxing for him, and he chose a different path after practicing that.
Yeah. So there may be some who are attracted to the path of Jnana, but for most of us, Bhakti Marg is so relishable. There is so much variety. There is so much newness. that it will never get over. The problem, so where is the problem? Why do we lose enthusiasm? Remember, that's what we started. We start with a lot of enthusiasm and then it becomes like boring. Chant 16 rounds, come to temple, go home, and then live your life.
We get diverted to different directions, maybe.
Yes, and I would like to put it in this way. The problem is we don't invest. Invest is the word I found, or I chose. I thought about it. We don't choose to invest in this newness. We are looking for newness, but we are so programmed to newness elsewhere that we keep going back to that newness. Whatever it is, baseball matches, basketball matches, every match is new. That's the good thing about sports. Same movie you'd never watch twice, but same team, it's playing, you watch again and again the same team, because the team may be the same, but the match is always different. So there is newness. So Netflix and bars and restaurants and cruises and cabins. And I have chosen these things because all of these have equivalents in bhakti. Instead of going to cruises and cabins, you can go to yatras. Instead of going to bars and restaurants, you can have prasadam at devotee houses, at various programs and various things. And so much opportunity is there. But very important, punchline is do all or some, whatever you find it, but do it with devotional enthusiasm, not material enthusiasm. Don't try to look for material enthusiasm. Devotional enthusiasm. So even if you are visiting a new temple in New York, the enthusiasm shouldn't be about going to New York. The enthusiasm should be to go to the temple. So that is something that one needs to develop. But that is a transition process. So go with the transition, but invest in these areas of bhakti. Invest in it, and you will see there is a lot of newness. Lot of newness in this. Whenever the next festival happens, participate enthusiastically. The devotees will want your participation. They will never say, oh, we have enough, we don't need you. Nobody will ever say that. There is never enough people to do various services. And there is so much availability. So invest in it and you will see so much newness that enthusiasm will rekindle. Okay. Next we will, yes.
Usually we don't lose we don't lose taste in these processes, but we lose taste in chanting on the holy name, because all these things are for chanting the holy name. That's the thing. Why we lose taste there?
Why we lose taste? So the question is why we lose taste in the chanting of the holy name. So chanting, for that we must, and that will get clarified slightly as we go along this verse. But for that, we will go back to the first one, the process of bhakti. Understanding what is the importance of the process. And chanting is the number one way, that is the Yuga Dharma, Sankirtanam. So when we understand that significance of chanting, especially for Kali Yuga, through the process of bhakti, through Bhakti Shastri, then it will become very clear in our mind that that is the central pillar. And everything else revolves around it. So Shravanam and Kirtanam. So we must understand Bhakti Shastra, read, invest time in Bhakti Shastra. From that, we will understand that we must do our chanting, those two things, with utsaha, with enthusiasm. And then add these things, whichever, you don't have to do this whole list, what is there on the screen, whichever ones you take taste in. Like so many devotees shared with names. Oh, this devotee likes to do this, that devotee likes to do that. So you don't have to do all of these. Whichever one you like, you take that. And try that out. These things have a semblance in the material world. So we say, if I do this, there is taste. For chanting, we don't have a semblance or an equivalent in the material world. So that seems boring. And that is because we do not understand how that is important in our bhakti. So are these. So we can see this because we see an equivalent in the material side. And that problem basically is that we are looking materially through this list. This sounds exciting. I'll go to New York. I'll go to Los Angeles. I will go to, what is that? Belgium. What is that place in Belgium? Radhadesh. I will go here. I will go there. So Radhadesh is just a label. The main thing there is Belgium. That's how we are looking at. If I told you your flight will directly land in Radhadesh and you will go out of Radhadesh, you won't get to see the rest of Belgium, would you still have the same taste? Okay. Okay, so let's go to, so we are progressing very slowly, but I don't know, I'm at least, so niścaya, determination. So what is the meaning of determination? The meaning of niścaya is, let's go through this slowly. Couple of things: conviction, strong conviction, nirnaya. We will see what that is. Free from doubts and firm faith, dridh vishwas. Let us see this. So conviction for what? Conviction for bhakti. So just see these lines, these quotations, see if it resonates with you. That conviction that Krishna bhakti is the purpose of my life. Do we feel that? That is the meaning of niścaya. So when we are executing the limbs of bhakti, execute it with this feeling that this is the purpose of my life. That is called niścaya. Another aspect of niścaya is this aspect of conviction and free from doubt aspect, that it works. Not only it is the purpose of my life, but it works. It's not fake. Or I have been brainwashed into it somehow. Someday I will see the result. Since I don't have any other better alternative, I'm following it. I will become fixed later when I see the proof, or I will be ready to jump ship into something else if that sounds better. Not like that. Right now, today, you have the firm faith that it works. It is the only process. Not only it is the best process, it is the purpose of life. And it works. It's not fake. It's not made up. Our acharyas are not taking us for a ride. They're not fooling us. So with that firm faith and conviction, and if somebody tries to, this another aspect, I'm just giving various aspects, trying to throw the light on the same statue, let us say, from various angles. So you see the full statue of whatever, Mona Lisa or whatever it is. So looking at it from all angles. If somebody tries to challenge you, Arey, why are you doing this? What is this Hare Krishna and all that? Do you think it works? It's all bogus. You should be able to answer them. No, I mean, you don't have to convince them that they start chanting. No, but you should, and it's not even, I'm not saying you should answer or respond. You should be at least able to respond to yourself, which means not even 1 millimeter you should be moved by their challenge. You should have firm faith. No, that's all nonsense, what they told. You don't demean them. I'm not saying you don't say anything bad to them. You can say, thank you very much. Okay. Okay, man. Okay. But internally, you should have complete answer for yourself. Why am I doing this? If not, going back to the shastra to get that answer. And if you don't have that answer, then to a certain level, yes, it is ritual for you. It is some kind of brainwash or some kind of, whatever may be the case, culture, or maybe some hope that one day I will find my determination. That's okay. But try to get there to this point of niścaya, that you have the answer. Why am I doing it? With firm, that is niścaya. And it comes from this niścaya for this bhakti, comes from shastra and guru. And guru repeats shastra, so it is not something whimsical. your answer to that question, why are you doing it, shouldn't be whimsical. It should be based on, it should be, otherwise that can change. If it is anything other than Shastra, then you have you're standing on a loose ground. It could, it means you are driving a car where the bolts have not, the wheel are not tight. You will, if you go on a bumpy road, the wheel could, you might meet an accident. So it should come from Shastra, which means all your nuts and bolts will be fully tight. Whether you go on a bumpy road, whether you go on a smooth road, your car will not break down. Your arguments will not break. So it has to be based on Shastra. Okay. And dejection free. Execute bhakti nicely, even if the results are not attained quickly. So there is that aspect of utsaha. Execute it nicely. And even if the results are not being obtained, keep doing it. Keep at it. Don't be tired, like I'm ready to give up. So then, what is the meaning of niścaya? There are various levels. Niścaya, now the meaning is shifting a little bit to sankalpa. I will cover this quickly. Niścaya means this is my conviction, or this is the conviction in a particular process of bhakti or a particular limb of bhakti. And it can be various limbs of bhakti or various aspects. And there can be also levels. At some point, you might want to graduate to the next level. So many times we get instructions from our gurus that you do this, you do that. So whatever we take a niścaya, we take a sankalpa that this is what I will focus on. Or you develop your own taste, etc. So don't look down upon others. Fully respect other devotees' niścaya. So various types of niścaya can be there. Let's quickly go through this. So, conviction that simply by Krishna Bhakti, one automatically performs all other duties. So having that niścaya and doing various activities in Krishna Bhakti to make new devotees, bringing people into Bhakti, taking them further ahead. Or if somebody is working with lot of determination on his own transformation, he's not preaching to others. He's just, a person who is trying to work on his own. Either he is working on his anarthas for Krishna's pleasure. Krishna's pleasure is the main thing. Or offering the results of his work to Krishna. So he may be working outside. He may not come every Sunday to the temple. But maybe he's offering all the results of his works to Krishna. Yad karoshi yad ashnashi. Tad kurushva madarpanam. Or maybe somebody is renouncing all material activities. He's, renounced everything and doing only few activities for Krishna's pleasure. Krishna's activities, yukta vairagya. We discussed yukta vairagya. I'm going very fast through this. This one slide is one whole class by Hariparshad Prabhu for like 2 hours. So you can go through that. Cultivating Bhakti Gyan by diving deep into Bhakti Shastri. Following the rules and regulations of Sadhan Bhakti, Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti, 16 plus 4 means 16 rounds of chanting, 4 regulative principles, plus something that you do that you have taste in, whether it is kirtan, cooking, deity dressing, deity worship, whatever it is. So whatever you do it with taste, with ruchi and asakti. This is the most important point. Execute, so I will go to this last point, execute your type of bhakti, whatever it is, in which you find taste, but do it with niścaya and utsaha. So find something that you have a taste in. Or if it is a specific instruction from your guru, then you have to do it. Do that, but with full taste and full determination, do that. And respect other devotees' niścaya as well. They may have a different niścaya. There can be many levels, many types of niścaya. All right. Now, shall we go to dhairya? Very important point as well. So, dhairya. What is the meaning of dhairya?
Patience.
So there are 3 levels at which we can understand. 3 levels. First level is patience. What is the meaning of patience? Just wait. Correct? The next level of meaning of dhairya is perseverance. There is a difference between patience and perseverance. What is the difference? Persevere means there is some activity involved. It's not just waiting. Isn't it? Can you realize that from the meaning? If you, while waiting, continue the journey, that is called persevere. Isn't it? Perseverance means you are doing something, you're not getting the result, but you should still continue to do. That is called persevere. Hey, persevere. We tell our children, persevere. It's okay. This midterm test, you didn't get good marks. Doesn't matter. Keep studying. In the final exam or next midterm, you will get better. Persevere. That's what we call persevere. Patience doesn't mean, okay, just have patience, like just wait. Persevere. So while waiting, continue to do your journey. That is tat karma pravartanat. And not only that, the third level is non-agitation. In that process, don't get frustrated. Don't get agitated. While continuing the journey, even if the goal has not been achieved, don't get agitated or frustrated. That is utsaha. Maintain the utsaha. So do it with utsaha, even if the result is not manifesting. So the sort of the combined meaning of this whole thing is to not become slack or agitated in executing the limbs of bhakti, even if there is a delay in attaining the goals. That is dhairya. Okay. So again, there are some quotes that I will put in and see if they resonate with you. Firmness of thought, like there is this is what is dhairya. This reflects the mood of or the attitude of dhairya, that there is no inconvenience on the path of bhakti. I am continuing my bhakti. It's not inconvenient. Because inconvenience is what causes us to become impatient. If there is any inconvenience, it is negligible compared to the inconvenience of the material world. Looking at my inconvenience simply as a result of my prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma means our sinful reactions or our reactions that have now manifested, for which I am paying the price. So if there is any inconvenience, that is the cause. But the process itself, the process of bhakti, is not a troublesome process. Nobody is asking you to walk on a road of thorns or on a walk on a hot, charcoal or something like that. So there is no inconvenience in the path of bhakti. The problem is that we are used to instant gratification. The more and more we are progressing in the material world, the more and more it's all about instant gratification. Isn't it? 24-hour stores. Now earlier the store used to close at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Then if you feel an urge to eat some bananas and you don't have any, now you can just run to 24-hour QFC and get whatever you want at any time. You want to have an urge to eat chocolates, you can basically anything, instant gratification. You want to watch a movie, you don't have to wait for it to appear in theaters. You can just go watch it at any time. You want a reply from your friend, you send him a message, then you keep looking whether he has replied. Because it's all possible, it's instant. You don't have to wait for the mail to be delivered. So everything is so instant. So we apply that on bhakti as well. Our minds have been conditioned for instant gratification. Okay. But here is the problem with bhakti. Okay, so please try to understand this carefully. So then the question will become, okay, bhakti is not a chocolate that I can buy from 24-hour store, grocery store at will. So how long I have to wait? What is the time frame? When will I attain the goal? What is the goal, by the way? What is the goal of bhakti? Krishna Prema, or entry into Goloka Dham, Bhagavata Dham. Okay. So after waiting for such a long time, one thinks, I cannot wait anymore. Enough is enough. This doesn't work. Doubts arise. Then doubts arise. Does this really work? There's this very nice story I heard from one time from Gopala Hari Prabhu, who is a very senior devotee. And he was mentioning this, that there was a devotee who had spent, like Prabhupada, disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and he had spent like 40 years distributing books and sharing Prabhupada's message and all that. And then he was diagnosed with cancer. And he shared that, there was a time when the diagnosis was given, and he was sharing a vivid memory that he was walking through the hallway of the hospital, and it was empty, completely empty, and it was a very long hallway. And he felt at that moment, he had that feeling of complete hollowness and emptiness, like the hallway was empty, that Krishna has deserted me. 40 years I spent, I left everything else, I just worked for Krishna. Not only offered the results of my work to Krishna, I did Krishna's work only. And this is what I get after 40 years, cancer. And doctor says, you have to go through 5 years of treatment and this and that and that. And he felt very hollow. Then he went through the treatment, and 1 year he went through the treatment, and he became better. And then usually in cancer, after 5 years, if there is no cancer, they treat you like it has been cured. They give you they call you a cancer survivor. So after 5 years, the doctor told him that I was not supposed to tell you this at that time, because what we found was a possible rare case of cancer, which was treatable. We were totally not sure if the medicines we were giving would work. It was not an experimental treatment, because then you have to disclose. It was some kind of a complication where they were not sure if it will work. So they did not want to give him false hope. But the chances of his survival, or whatever the working, were like very slim, 5% or 10%. They didn't want to tell that. And they said that one after the other, you just kind of kept falling in the narrow percentage. And it was, for us, it was like a miracle. We kept continuing the treatment, and you kept responding. And we just want to tell you that something is happening. You're incredibly lucky. There is something that is going really good with you. Something is really right with you. Of course, the doctor didn't know that. And then this devotee realized that Krishna was playing the role. So one has to wait. Krishna may not immediately make himself obvious, because we have forgotten him for many, many, many lifetimes. So few years, if he is asking us to wait, that's okay, no? I also do that to my child many times. Even though I'm father and I love my children a lot, I keep calling their name. They don't reply. When they call Papa, then this time I say, I also not reply. So why are you not replying? So you remember like 20 times when I call you, you don't reply. So now how do you feel? Huh? When I can say this to my child, I love them a lot. I'm just saying as a personal example in my own case. If I can feel that way, why Krishna cannot feel that way with us? Why cannot he? Why he cannot? I feel that he is completely entitled to feel that way. Why not? What have we done to make him feel any different from what I am feeling to my child? Right? So, all the shastras say that how long we have to wait? The Krishna Prema, entry into bhakti, is very easy, very straightforward. But Krishna Prema will manifest only by the sweet will of the Lord whenever he desires. Okay? From his time span, it's very short, by the way. From our time span, it may seem very long. Like my child, the moment he calls, he expects me to respond like instantly. Even 10 seconds delay is eternity for him. For me, it's like, hey, I just didn't respond to you for 10 seconds and you're getting so mad. You have not been responding when I call like, oh, I'll come. 5 more minutes. So we are so impatient. So one should remember, and this you will study in Nectar of Devotion, that bhakti is sudurlabham. Not only durlabham, but a double emphasis on durlabha, which means sudurlabham, which means exceptionally rare. And not bhakti, not entry into bhakti, but the final goal of bhakti. The end goal of bhakti is not easily reached. There's a nice story of Narada Muni and a devotee. There's always a story of Narada Muni with a devotee. So one time, very short story, just 3 lines. One devotee asked Narada Muni. So this should be our attitude, by the way. Dhairya. One time devotee asked Narada Muni, Narada Muni, when will I get Krishna Prema? When will I see Lord Krishna and go to Goloka? So Narada Muni looked at his little notebook and found out, and then he said, 50 lifetimes. What do you think the devotee did?
Surprised, unpleasantly.
Unpleasant surprise? No, this devotee jumped with joy. He said, 50 lifetimes, that's it? Sure, I'm willing to wait 50 lifetimes. I would wait even 60 lifetimes. No problem. No problem. Let me wait. So that should be the mood of the devotee. That I'm willing to wait as long as it takes. So I don't want to leave this discussion halfway, so we'll just go for a few more minutes. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura, one of his disciples, asked him if there was one verse from the entire Srimad Bhagavatam which you would like to have us live our life by. Live by it. Which one would it be? If I have to apply one verse in my life, this is not about saying which is the most important verse of Bhagavatam from a theory perspective or this or that. The most important that way would be Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam or something else. Maybe that one. But to live our life by, that will take me back to Bhagavata Dham. That is this one. Very famous verse, some of you may remember. Tatte anukampam susamikshamano bhunjan evatma kritam vipakam hridvag vapubhir vidadhan namaste jivetayo mukti pade sadaya bhak. So this means that tatte anukampam su samikshamano bhunjan. What it means is that because of your merciful nature, I am willing to wait as long as it takes and continue. So bhunjan evam means to continue to endure. I am willing to keep enduring because of my atma kritam vipakam, because of my own problems that or my own deeds that I have done. I am willing to wait as long as it takes. And what will I do in the meantime? Hrid vak vapubhir vidadhan namaste. In the meantime, with my mind BMW, body, mind, and words, I will continue to do your bhakti, your devotional service. Jiveta yo. Like this, I will continue to live my life and future lives and everything. So like this one who lives, Jiveta yo mukti pade sa daya bhak. He becomes the claimant. He becomes the, what is called as the, he has inherited it. He has earned the right for mukti pada, for mukti. So the bottom line is patiently wait. Okay. This is Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Maharaj said, this is, you can live your, you should live your life as per this principle. Patiently wait and continue to execute the limbs of bhakti with utsaha and niścaya. And you will see in one of the future slides I have put tagline, one day Krishna will open the door of Bhagavata Dham. He will be compelled to. It's not like he is trying to keep it closed, but one day the doors will open. Whether it is one lifetime or 50 lifetimes. So just one more slide and we'll done for today. Dhairya. Some deeper practical aspects of dhairya. Okay. So in the meantime, while you are waiting, be satisfied regardless of the condition of life. Be satisfied. Don't give up. Don't say enough is enough. I am done. Bye-bye. Even till the last moment of one's life. So even if that waiting has to continue into the next life, don't give up. Okay, this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam says, Tri dukkha sahanam dhairyam amriteh sarvatah sada. Amriteh. Amriteh means even if death comes. Tri dukkha sahanam. Tri dukkha means the three miseries. Adhidaivik, adhibhautik, and adhyatmik. Sahanam, I will keep tolerating with dhairya, and I will maintain my dhairya, my perseverance and my patience. Amriteh sarvatah sada. I will keep doing this forever, even if I have to go through the process of death and rebirth. There are these beautiful three examples. We don't have time to go through these. Jad Bharat, the queen who sold buttermilk, beautiful example. Very hard-hitting example. Jad Bharat, you could see when this is the example here is when the dacoits were even going to kill him. He was so composed. And of course, Mother Kali came and saved him. But he was not, even till the moment of near death, last moment. The gopis kept waiting for Krishna. With lots of utsaha, they would make new garlands, cook new items every day for Krishna. Today he will come. Today he will come. And always, every day they would do that. Every day. They didn't say, okay, enough. Shabri kept waiting for Lord Ram for so many years. And then, beautiful example of Srila Prabhupada. He faced all failures after failure. We only see the success part. Failure, it's not like he was just a material, like, was running his pharmacy. He tried back to Godhead. He tried League of Devotees. He tried so many different ways. The instruction to come to the West, he got it in 1936. Actually, he got it in the first meeting itself. Then he again got that instruction just before the departure of Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. First instruction he got in 1923. When he came to America, 1965. How many years? 40 years, almost. More than 40. So he wasn't sitting idle for 40 years, but 40 years of failure. There was no like a big movement in 40 years that he could generate. We don't hear of it. Only failures. Did he give up? No, he did not. Even on the ship, he had a heart attack. He would have said, okay, the moment I land, I'm taking the next ship back. Enough. He didn't do that. This lady, Srimati, what is her name? Murarji. Gave him a return ticket also. If ever, I know you will be failed, you will fail. So even though you are asking one-way ticket, I'm giving you two-way. Come back. He didn't use it. First time he came back to India was on a flight, which tells that the ship ticket was never used. So he didn't lose dhairya. He didn't lose patience. Another very important thing that causes us to lose patience. What is it? That may cause us to lose patience. So just by saying it, it will clarify.
Lack of faith.
If we have done too much.
Looking at other people's progress. Oh, he is progressing so much by doing so little. Why am I not making progress? This process is random. It is by chance. No, it's not by chance. You don't know what he has done in his past life or how seriously he is doing it internally. There can be so many factors. If his mango tree is giving ripe and nice fruits, even though both of you are watering the tree, everything, maybe he has done something else where, he is getting more ripe fruits. You cannot say that the process of planting the tree is faulty, so I won't plant the tree anymore. So don't compare yourself. Don't be discouraged by looking at other devotees' progress. Another point. So these are just some deeper practical aspects. Okay. Another point is which should give this confidence or dhairya is that in this process of bhakti, we are so much better than millions and millions of other people. So you should look at the, like you say, what's the other thing? Look at the brighter side. Yes, exactly. Like, I was complaining about, there's this famous quote, right? I was complaining about my small tight shoes till I saw a man with no feet. So look at the brighter side. You are already on the boat. Now, yes, the boat may take a long time to reach, but you are on the boat. There are so many people waiting to even get on the boat. They don't even know there is a scenic route. They are all stuck on the highway. You at least know the route. Another very important point is in this aspect of dhairya. Some people, and I have seen some people in my personal experience, I have met such people who make this aspect of, oh, I will wait, or in other words, I will suffer, as a limb of bhakti. More suffering means better bhakti. Suffering, again, we must remember what is in the 64 limbs of bhakti and what is not. Suffering is not a limb of bhakti. Neither is not only suffering, but any kind of renunciation. Renunciation of any kind of benefits is not a limb of bhakti. Nowhere. And definitely not suffering. Some people say, oh, Kunti Maharani said. So we must, the point is, don't make it such that your attachment to suffering is coming out of your pride. Oh, I will show how much I can suffer. The attachment should be to execute Krishna Bhakti, not to show how much you are like Jack Bauer or whoever else. Suffer, how much pain you can tolerate. I'll show them how much pain I can tolerate. Come on, beat me, I won't tell the secret. In the movies, Maro jitna marna hai, main nahi bataunga. So that's not the point. So the answer is, if a remedy exists and it helps Krishna Bhakti, take it and do Krishna Bhakti. So don't get into this trap of suffering either. And sometimes the worst miseries come from close family and friends. There's another very nice story that Prabhuji had narrated. We don't have time to go into that. Still tolerate. And continue to execute your Krishna Bhakti. And mitigate, emigrate, apply the TME. But continue your, I missed the word, continue your Krishna Bhakti. Okay? And finally, know that Krishna always has my back. Even though the doors may not have opened yet, I am in Krishna's protection. Always, just like the story of that devotee who had cancer. He may not make it obvious to you that he is protecting you, but it is called Asha Bandha. Asha Bandha means, this is, you will study Nectar of Devotion, Bhava Bhakti. That one is certain that Krishna is protecting me, and one day the gate will open. And if Krishna wants me to wait, I am willing to wait as many lifetimes as it will take. So that is dhairya. Okay. So now we will see if there are questions. Yes, Prabhuji.
He has been displaying dhairya.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji. My question to you, Prabhu, on the goal of bhakti. In practical sense, what are those? And we know that bhakti is a long path. As you said, 50 lifetimes itself is like a big celebration if it can happen. What are some of those symptoms that we can see? Like, let's say, if we are on a flight that takes 20 hours, we have an expectation that in 20 hours we'll be there. And we see some signs like, it's that we see that runway is disappearing. When we look out the window, like, we see
very nice question.
Moving. What are some of the symptoms that we'll get there at some time, but what are some of the symptoms we can look around and build on top of it in bhakti path?
What are some of the symptoms on the path of bhakti that we are moving in the right direction?
Yes.
Very nice question, very important to know that we are doing right. So first thing, several answers are there. Be in association with somebody who can provide feedback. Feedback is very important. That is one. I'm giving very concise answers. Another point is that how much, and this is something that you can self-evaluate, how much you are getting disturbed by material situations. Because devotees at the highest level have no worries. They are worry-free. Yesterday, only in the Bhagavad Gita class, we were discussing Hrishyami cha muhu muhu. So in the process of bhakti, one is very happy, and that happiness is everlasting. It lasts forever, even in this life. And happiness means, one of the aspects of happiness is worry-freeness. That's the first step. Removal of worries, then you add the happiness on top of it later. So it's the two, both. So the first, we are already in so much worry, so much stress, so much worry is the main thing. Now tax day is coming in 1 week. So we are worried. We haven't even started. Oh my God, taxes. Oh, how much we have to pay tax? Do we have that much money to pay? So many things are there. Where will we, do this, do that, do that, do that. So the reduction of worries, the situations may still be there, but our stress, our constant meditation on the worries and trying to find material solutions, material shelters should begin to diminish. And our dependence on Krishna should continue to increase, which should tell us that, yes, this is part of Krishna's plan. No problem. It's his plan. Let him worry. I will still continue to do my part with full commitment. But ultimately, it is his plan. So what do I have to worry? Like a small child who is traveling with the father. And the child is not so small, like 1 year old, but maybe like 5 years old. And they all see when they reach the airport or wherever, oh, flight has been cancelled. Or the flight has departed. What does the 5-year-old child think? He knows there is a problem. What does he think?
Father will take care.
Somehow he will take care. It's his, and if he doesn't take care, we'll just go back home or we'll do something, or whatever happens, either way, it will be fun. I'll be with my fun or whatever. It will be like, I'll be fine. That way. So keep evaluating, rather than it's like a alone 5-year child who's thinking, oh my God, I have no idea. I'm in this alien place. What to do? It's all on me. So like that. But at the same time, continue to do your part with commitment. So these are some things that can tell you if you are making progress. And when we go to Nectar of Devotion, the second part of Nectar of chapter 18 of Bhava Bhakti has 8 characteristics. 8, or I'm forgetting, 9. I really want to find this out. I should remember this by definition. 9. I don't know how I got the number 8. 9 characteristics of a devotee in the bhava stage. And this should give you some sense that we have to get here. You can see this. Let me share this on the Zoom. Rupa Goswami next describes the characteristics of a person who has actually developed his ecstatic love, which is bhava. This is bhava bhakti level. The characteristics are as follows. So 9 characteristics. So this shows the 9 characteristics. You can see if you are beginning to develop little bit of any of these 9. Make a list. If you are a very technology person, you can make a little, keep a little tracker or some app or something. I don't know, I'm being funny, but somehow keep track. Are you moving forward in any of these 9 vectors? Is the needle moving forward? The 5th one, as we said, is Asha Bandha. He is always certain that Krishna will bestow his mercy upon him. So here are 9 vectors you can measure in yourself. Okay. Let's see. There are a couple of questions on the Zoom. Let's handle that for benefit of those. So let's see which are the questions. Krishna is unlimited and inexhaustible in qualities. So bhakti can never feel old. Very nice. Like Gopakumar. Okay. So this is a comment. Pinnacle of playing together with Krishna, and even though he was the same, he says the same pastimes repeat over and over and are growing and growing, never old. Yes. And we see from Brihad Bhagavatamrita how these pastimes are a little bit different every time. There are similar pastimes described, but there is so much difference also. And then 8.5 and 9.22, yes, describe the necessity of chanting. 8.5, Antakale cha mameva smarana muktva kalevaram. But that is only the theory. The actual one is 8.7, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. That is where we get the process so that we can, 8.5 is just the exam. Here is the final exam. To pass the exam, that is what you must do. And 9.22, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. He was also always in great anxiety, sadness when he couldn't see his friend Krishna. Yes, that is in fact one of these ones. Which one is it? Let's find out. Always very eager to serve the Lord faithfully. And always very anxious to utilize his time in devotional service. He's always very eager to describe the transcendental qualities. There is that eagerness, that anxiety, what in other classes we call as healthy tension. One should have healthy tension. So all these points are there. Yes, Prabhuji.
So Prabhu, you described the words from Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. So that we have to respect the Lord from heart, and then we have to be self-satisfied, and then we see many examples also. Like the example of Kadamba Kanana Maharaj when he was diagnosed with cancer.
Yes.
He was like being happy. If you will read his letter, he was like, oh, Maharaj Parikshit got just 7 days, but I got like a year. So he was becoming happy. So it seems like he was also self-satisfied completely. So the thing is, the question is, how can we...
Somebody forwarded me a video of him doing very energetic kirtan almost just 15 days before his departure. Nobody could imagine that 15 days before he would leave, he was so energetic.
So the thing is, how can we be satisfied? Because when we are unsatisfied in some aspects of material life, then we will make other people also unsatisfied. We will say, oh, see, I told you, now it will happen. Something like that. So how can we actually be satisfied with the material conditions, or even with people like that? Actually, like practical aspects to be satisfied.
Similarly, I have a question. So sometimes when you said like Krishna will take care, we should not worry. We should be satisfied.
But we should continue to do our bhakti with commitment, with utsaha, niścaya, and dhairya. Okay.
Yeah, but then sometimes people around us, mostly the close people, they give us like, worries, like why you are not worrying? There are so much to worry. So, the same kind of like Prabhuji.
No, that's a different point, what you are mentioning.
Kind of, that is also similar. Like sometimes we get worried because of someone else. Like let's say we can't avoid people, like parents saying, why are you doing so much of bhakti? Something like that. So in those cases, how can we be satisfied? Because we have to be good children, so we have to satisfy our parents if they are sick.
Okay, so wait. So the question is just how to satisfy them, or how to, if I may say, just pacify them. That is
how can we be satisfied?
That is a different question. How to pacify them, or like chup karana, like okay, you can, for that there are different answers. But if your question is how can I myself be satisfied, then that shows, or that at least tells that there is some doubt one has in his own heart, and that is clarified through shastra. So we already talked about that. The answer is the same, that one has to then clearly understand and have a conviction, and the conviction comes through sadhu sangha, through shravana, and through sadhu sangha. And by constant by steady bhakti, with time that conviction arises in your own heart. So continue to do sadhu sangha, continue to invest your time in shastra, and give it time. The conviction will arise in your own heart with all these aspects. Then you will be clear that yes, this is very, very, everything that is being said here is true and it works. That's what I would say. To the question that what was your question, Mataji? There was some aspect for which I wanted to make a point.
Yeah, like I was saying about the worries, like, from some other people. Yeah, like maybe our close relatives, mostly the close people. They think like, oh.
So why are you not worried?
Yeah.
In this situation?
Yeah.
Then you can, this goes back to that story actually of the queen and the buttermilk is very, very pertinent in this matter. I'll try to quickly share that story. There was this lady who, again, little bit of a child warning here, age warning. But this lady was going to get married to a king. And she had a paramour from before. So he said, why are you getting married to the king? Or there was some pressure or something. And he said, why don't you give poison to the king? He will die and then we can run away. Then, so she did that. The king died. Then, again, I'll make it short. That paramour also died. He also, he got bitten by a snake and he died. Out of misfortune, whatever reason, she fell into very bad association. And, then she was completely later on deserted by society and was in a very, very bad situation because of all that happened. And finally, she wanted to give up her life. Then some other women who were selling buttermilk said, why don't you come with us? So she joined them and started selling buttermilk. One day, a thief came and stole all the buttermilk. And when they got up, when they were sleeping, when they got up, all the other ladies were so worried, so anxious. All our buttermilk is gone. Where will we now get money and all? She was not at all anxious. And when they asked her, why are you not anxious? We are all so anxious, so stressed, so distressed. She said, I have seen much worse in my life. That this loss of buttermilk is negligible. It's the least of my problems. So there is nothing that can move. So that is our biggest problem, is that we have left the association of Krishna. That is our biggest one. And then we chose to side with Maya. She also deserted us and put us in this situation. So the biggest calamity has already occurred. So one should have the determination that one should be able to see that what are these other problems. They are behaving like these buttermilk ladies who are fretting about this buttermilk being stolen. So we must realize, as devotees, that look at the full long-term situation of ours, where we came from and where we want to go. And when we will be in view of that, or in realization of that overall situation, these problems will sound very small and petty. Now, this is our own understanding of why these problems are so petty. We are already in a big problem. We deserted Krishna, whom we wanted to run away with, deserted us and put us into all these problems. That was all our doing. Otherwise, this lady would have been the queen of the whole kingdom. She left that. So these other problems are just so minor. Now, if your question is how to explain to them, that's not a priority to explain. That you can choose based on your relationship and others, how to tell them if you want. But you should be clear in your own heart that these problems are very minor, very, very minor, given the big problem we are in. Okay. So there is no problem in our understanding. There should not be. Now, if your question is how to explain it to others or kaise unko chup karaye, that is a whole different ball game. That you can say yes, 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 okay. If you just want to like not deal with that whole thing, you should, first of all, priority should be you yourself are clear. That is this. Now, how to tell them, how to get them off your back? You can say yes, you can just agree and go do your own way, go your own way. Or if you feel for them, you can give them some, point them in the right direction.
A personal question, Prabhuji.
Yes.
A personal question. I'm seeing for the probably for the first time that your tilak is of black color.
Yeah, this
usually it was of white color. So is there any significance in the tilak?
This is known as Radha Kund Tilak. This is the mud from the bottom of Radha Kund, which is black. So in Vrindavan, both are available. The yellow one, or what is known as the little white one, which you are talking about, is the Gopi Chandan, or it is basically made of the mud of Vrindavan, which is in kind of like golden or yellow color. This is the mud from the bottom of Radha Kund. So both are available in Vrindavan. You can ask for it. Both are very auspicious, very nice to put on.
Thank you.
Recently, somebody gave me this, so I use this. Sometimes I use that. All right, we are way over time. Sorry about that. For Bhakti Shastri purposes, even if you attended the regular time, 1.5 hours first, that is enough. And for those who stayed, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Prabhuji,
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.